Alright, hi class. This is week 14, I think, where we're in chapter 9, which talks about advanced classes, more of the excellent stuff that we were working on last week. And hopefully you're reading the book, and that's making some sense to you. I'm here to further set along the concepts and hopefully explain or demonstrate how to use these things in a different way than the book does. So here's my first starting out program. And we're going to build some classes. Let's make sure this runs. So the first one in the book is the critter farm. And as much as I love critters, I'm probably going to use something different, like if I had a class pilot. And if the, let's see, public stuff was first, we'd have pilot. And it's going to take a name, constant string reference named name equal to nothing. So there's two ways to do this. So here's the way that we're familiar with. We have a private string im name. And here we would say that im name is equal to name. Or we could change this up to given name, which I like to do. Because when you create a new pilot, you have the option of calling its constructor and assigning a name right here. So we could do something like cout, creating a pilot, and we could create a pilot named red1. That's the name of the variable. And when we create it, we could call it Luke. And so let's see if that runs. Okay, creating a pilot. So this runs, and let's go ahead and build the next one that says, you know, this is what my name is. So string get name. I'll come back to this in a second. I want to show off what's happening here. And it's going to return im name. And I'm just going to put this all in one line because it's one line of code to do. So cout pilot's name is red1.getName. Okay. So even though we never assigned it anywhere in the code, and even though it's private and we don't have something like, you know, set name, we can set its name when we create it here. We can make another pilot red2, and then we could say wedge. What? Oh, red2. There we go. Pilot's name is Luke. Pilot's name is Wedge. So the way that the book is doing this is slightly different and slightly less code or text. And that is to assign it here with a colon and then say that im name, open brackets, given name. And then we get rid of this here because that means exactly the same thing. And we can get rid of that there. And you can do this for several sets of variables. You can do that for, you know, attack, defense, you know, what kind of elemental damage, what kind of fighter jet that they use, or starfighter, as it were. And I believe, let's go ahead and demonstrate that, since the book doesn't really. String imfave ship. And the im is there just as a data member. So imfave ship. So we'll put this on its own line anyway. Comma. Imfave ship is equal to... Let's make it constant too, just like the book. Why not? Given ship. It's equal to X-wing. Okay, let's do like that. Okay. Imfave ship is given ship. Let's see if this works. Oh, what do we have? In constructor pilot, class pilot does not have any field named imfave. Yeah, I really spelled that wrong, didn't I? Okay, let's try that again. Oh, good. Okay. So Wedge, let's just say that Wedge prefers a speeder, or let's say it's an A-wing. A-wing. See out. Red 2's fave ship is red 2 dot. Oh no, I don't have a way to get it. String get ship const, which means it's read only. Constant means read only. Return im fave ship. Red 2 dot get ship. And there is. Should probably have is the X-wing, the A-wing. We could probably add this line of code even if we didn't assign Red 1's favorite ship, because it has a default. So, Red 1's favorite ship is the X-wing, Red 2's favorite ship is the A-wing, and if we changed Red 2 to, get name, then we could say Luke's favorite ship is the X-wing, etc., etc. Hopefully that gives you some ideas for how you can use classes to your advantage, because it's all just data and then ways to get at that data. So we've got Luke, Red 1. We've got Wedge, Red 2. Let's go ahead and build that farm. Well, not farm, but we're going to name ours class Rogues. Or wing, right? So it's a wing of pilots. A group of pilots. I don't know. I'm going to stick with Rogues. This is Star Wars related if you're wondering where this is coming from. So class public. And what do we have? We have the constructor, also named Rogues, and it's going to accept an int number of spaces equal to 1. And it's going to say im underscore, nope, that's wrong. It's going to say im pilots dot reserve spaces. Reserve is from chapter 4 when we talked about vectors. You're going to notice in a second here when we create a private vector of not strings, not ints, but pilots. Sorry, pilot. Because pilot is just a variable type now, or an object type. So we can make a vector of pilots because that's a thing. So we'll have a vector of pilots named mPilots. And when we create a new rogues variable type, it will have a vector mPilots, and it will default to have one pilot inside of it, or space at least for one pilot. So let's see, void, that's the return type, and here's add, and we're going to get a read-only reference to a pilot. Sorry, reference to a pilot. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, there we go. Reference to a pilot named given pilot. And we're just going to call mPilots.pushback given pilot. And that's the end of that member function. And we also have void roll call. And it's constant because it's read-only. And we can say for, and we don't have to do it the long way that the book does. We can just say int I equal to 0. I is less than mPilots.size. And add 1 to I. And we can say cout. mPilots of I dot, what is it up here? Get name. Get name. So we'll have, let's see, those, and then is flying a or an. See, when you're a programmer, you gotta worry about stuff like that. You gotta worry about your syntax and your English being the right way. It just gets to you. It's flying an mPilots dot get ship. Okay, let's run this and see if it breaks. Expected semicolon at the end of our class. There we go. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so down in int main. Whoops. What do we want? What do we want? We've created our pilots. We need to create our rogues. So I'll just tell the player, creating rogue squadron. What to name it? Wing. Just call it wing. And let's see, how many spaces do we want for it? Well, let's have 4 spaces. And we could absolutely default that to 1 because the you know, we're just going to allocate more memory when we need to allocate more memory. So this is interesting. This is a bit different. Adding pilots. So we have wing.add, and we're sending it a reference to a pilot. So we can create a new pilot inside here, and the name can be DAC, and favorite ship can be Y-Wing. And there's no variable name for DAC. The only way to access is through wing. Well, what would it be? I guess it'd be wing.mPilots of 1 or of 0. So DAC exists in the vector of pilots, and that's it. It's the only way to get to DAC. So wing.add, and we'll add another pilot. And then we'll add the two that we've already got. Wing.add, red 1. Wing.add, red 2. Let's make sure that works. It does work. And then we have roll call. Let's have another couple here. So, wing dot roll call. And then we'll run it. And what we'll get, roll call, Dak is flying a Y-wing, Biggs is flying an X-wing, Luke is flying an X-wing, and Wedge is flying an A-wing. So that's aggregation, and aggregation means that we have a class with another different class inside, which once we become expert programmers, like we almost are, is what we're going to be doing a lot, because the built-in types only get us so far. We get to build our program the rest of the way that we want, which is pretty fun and pretty crazy. And I'm going to stop this video and we'll go on to the next example in the next video.